Darlene here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Shedwars. We are a gardening community teaching the world how to garden. So I hope you enjoy today's video. Are you ready? Let's go. Greetings. Greetings from Darlene's garden. Darlene here. It's a beautiful day. 63 degrees here. Feels really good in the sun. So I got out and did some gardening. Well, both yesterday and today. So let me turn you around and I'll show you what I've got done. Tell you a little bit about what I'm doing so that I can turn this into a Shedwar video. Because I can't just ramble on and talk to you. I need to be teaching you something. So here goes. All right. This is in the shade now, so hopefully you can see it okay. This time of the afternoon. All right, down here, and let me get a little closer. I planted, most of those are kales, and there might be a couple of cabbages in there. I think most of it's kale. Right there, and over here are some cilantro. The cilantro I actually prepared in my winter gardening jars. And it's getting its true leaves, so I figured it's time to plant it out. In this area right here, I planted some beets and carrots. I planted a row of carrots along here too. And more kale and some radish. All right. And in this pot, I planted some lettuce. I believe one of the rows here are also lettuce. I did all of this yesterday, and of course I didn't come out with any markers that told me what was what. There's a couple of them in there, but that's okay. My cauliflowers have been doing nicely despite the fact that we've had some cold nights. But in the next week or so, we're supposed to be in the low 40s at night. Should be just fine. And I have some things in my little greenhouse. Down at the bottom, there's a pot that has a artichoke in it. You can't really see it very well. But it's been sitting outside on my table for, well over a week. So it's used to being outside. And the other shelf in my little greenhouse has some things that have been being out for the last few days. Decided it's time for it to stay out all night, and I'm protecting it by putting it in the little greenhouse. It was pretty warm in there today, so I had the cover tied up, but it's all closed down now for the evening. The other thing I did yesterday, before I move on, I need to tell you why I planted the things that I planted. All of those things that I told you about, the cabbages, the kales, the radishes, the cilantro, the carrots, onions, cauliflower. What else did I didn't tell you about onions, but they were there. You could see them in the video. And cabbages. Well, I've lost track of what I'm talking about. But all of those things are cool weather plants. So what you have to do is check your statistics and see whether something can be planted out and tolerate a little bit of a frost should one come. Everything I've got here is okay down to about 28. a few things can even do more than that. And they will be just fine with our low 40s, even high 30s at night. And if it gets warm during the day, that is okay. It's not going to get that warm. Not yet. So those are the things that I can plant. Now, and they will be okay. I also planted some nasturtiums. If it starts to get too cold, I can come out and throw a row cover over the nasturtiums just to be on the safe side. But nasturtiums are a cool weather plant, and I put them in this tower so that they can do their thing, which you can see they've already been doing. The other thing that I did yesterday, and this is in preparation for everything else that I'm going to do in this garden, I brought up some compost from my compost pile and put some compost from a sack of compost that I had all in this area. It still needs to be raked out and smoothed up. I'm going to put some soil on, potting soil on top of that too when I go to plant things, or before even. This area right here, oh, on the bottom of that, underneath everything was, well, since I didn't have cardboard, I had lots of brown paper and newspaper, and that all helps to squash the weeds. And this area right here will get the same treatment, probably tomorrow or the next day. And then we will be ready to start planting some things here. What did I put in the little greenhouse? One of the things was borage. I'm going to plant the borage right alongside my strawberries. And I may plant some more borage seeds. Tomatoes are going to kind of go in this area, and peppers. Tomato, probably, my theory right now, and I'll see when I go to plant stuff, tomato, pepper, tomato, pepper, tomato, pepper. We'll see. We're not quite there yet. My pots, I've rearranged them yet once again, and I'm not going to guarantee they're even going to stay this way. As the spring and summer progresses, I may need to etch out little paths to walk through things, and we'll see how it goes. In that tub, I have worm castings. Once I get this all ready to plant in, worm castings are all going to go on this whole area here too. Over there where I planted the other things that I just showed you, that white that's on there, that's ground up eggshells, and that's to discourage any slugs. We don't have many slugs because it's pretty dry here, but we do have some. The strawberries that I planted in that tower and that tower, the ones that I planted from plants are doing great. The ones that I planted from bare root, I don't see signs of life. Time will tell, I'm sure. Time will tell. And I still have I have one jar of winter sowing that nothing has ever come up in it. And it was I was thinking that might be the case. This one has yarrow, and that is just about ready for me to plant out. This one has some milkweed, and this one, I don't think there's anything in there either. I thought there was. Lemongrass. No, I don't have any. The lemongrass, and that one was a flaxseed, and I kind of thought it might not work. But the yarrow and the milkweed probably can get, I know the yarrow can get planted out might leave the milkweed in there a little longer. So that is what I've done the last few days. Oof. I have little poles everywhere to help me keep my balance, and this one I need to put some more around it so that this doesn't topple over. I was weeding grass out of a patch out on the other side of the yard, and I discovered some both garlics and onions that I thought I harvested everything last year, but apparently I didn't. So I pulled those out with the grass and relocated them to that pot. My kales that I planted down in here are doing fine, but the potatoes have not sprouted yet. And I had potatoes in there, and these potatoes have sprouted. They were started indoors, that's why. But they've been sitting outside, so I have a little lilac tree. It's probably 4 or 5 years old by now. I tried to make a little bonsai out of it. So I don't want it to get any taller than it is. We'll see what happens. It's got more leaves on it this year than ever before. My daisies are coming up nicely there. And kale's left over from 2 years ago, actually. Oh, and I planted some dill. So I'm going to put some links down in the description that talk about the plants that you can plant before your last frost occurs. And I'll talk just a little bit. Your last frost is based on your zip code. And if you go to farmersalmanac.com and find where you can get your last frost date, plug in your zip code, it will tell you when your last frost date is. And as I've explained before, my last frost date is kind of in between to one side of me and the other side of me. Neither one of them are totally accurate as far as my specific last frost date. So it's just kind of a guess on my part as to when I can sow things. And I know the lettuce seeds I was looking at yesterday in preparation, I've got some back in my grow room that I just planted that I had to replant because I think I might have said this on an earlier video. My kitty cat knocked them over and I had to replant. So that happens when you have kitty cats. I put it in a different location so she isn't likely to knock it over again. Anyway, all of the packets of seeds, the ones that I bought from Callie Kim, all of them said to plant 2 to 4 weeks before your last frost. So I'm very safe in planting them now. And it said I could direct seed them. So I've got some direct seeded outside, and then the ones seeded in my little, in my little tower inside, which I think I will be taking outside probably tomorrow. And I have to do a little research. I've got a couple of celeries in one of the little pots in the tower. I need to make sure that it can handle being outside. I think it can, but I need to double check before I put that part of my tower outside. Well, I hope you learned a little bit about what you can sow before your last frost, whenever that might happen to be. For me, it's right now. For some of you, it was several weeks ago. And some of you, it will be yet to come. I'm in Zone 6B in Northeast Oregon. That's on the dry side of Oregon, the sagebrush side of Oregon. Mostly around here we have sagebrush, if nothing is planted, and wheat fields, pea fields, canola occasionally. That's mostly what's grown around here. Just about 30, 40 miles west of us is Hermiston, and they're known for their watermelon. So I'm sure you can grow, I know they grow watermelons and pumpkins and that kind of stuff, and onions and mint. Let's see, what else do I know they grow over that direction? But around, specifically around where I live, it's wheat fields primarily. Zone 6B. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and then I will make sure that I've got those links in the description so that you can go and do some research on your own about what plants you can plant in April or before your last frost, and they should be able to navigate any cold evenings as long as it doesn't get too cold. All right. And to my Shedwars team members, go team, will it grow? Yes, indeed it will. And I will see you on my next video, whether it's a regular video or a Shedwars video or a collaboration of some kind. Whatever it is, I'll see you. Bye.